Forgive me, dear subscribers. I had to go to sleep last night. Both the stages finished so late. Here was yesterday's Vuelta stage part 2, and then we'll get to the sprint today on stage 3. Van Aert had to go early after Affini was the last man on this uphill drag. Groves had Van Aert's back and then beats him by a bike length to win the first sprint of this year's Vuelta. But the 6 bonus seconds for Van Aert meant he went into the red leaders jersey. Groves into the points jersey as well. But we had another sprint today, a very similar stage, actually, the last stage in Portugal from Lucha to Castelo Branco. We didn't have any uphill finishes or punchy stages in the Portuguese Gran Partida of the Vuelta, actually. But yeah, this was another little uphill drag. A Category 2 climb, though, so a fair amount of KOM points on offer for the breakaway in the hot conditions, a balmy 36 degrees, and we have the double, Equipo Kern Pharma and Euskaltel Basque team in the breakaway, and just like yesterday, they were being managed by the team of Van Aert with Robert Geesink and the team of Caden Groves, Alpecin Deceuninck. And here is that KOM sprint. Whoever wins the sprint goes into the blue polka dot jersey this evening and maybe keeps it for a couple of days. And Euskaltel won it with Luis Angel Mate, who's a veteran of these style of breakaways in the sprint stages of the Vuelta a España. But then back to Alpecin and Visma controlling the intermediate sprint. Van Aert actually in somewhat of a preview of the final sprint gets to jump on Groves, and then Groves kind of just, he's only losing a point anyway, so he just doesn't sprint at all, really, and Van Aert sprints all out to take 10 points behind the breakaway. So both of them clearly going for the green jersey at this point. Yesterday's crash victim, Josh Tarling, as well as Max Poole, stayed in the race. Van Baarle's out of the race, but Tarling was able to stay in, and he did a good pull later, in fact. So good to see he was still fighting fit. He's had some bad luck the last month or so. Isasa was the remainder of the breakaway, and he was reeled in with just under 20 Ks to go. So it was going to be a sprint staging compared to the Tour de France sprint stage. It's pretty chill. Like, it's Steven Kruijswijk on the front with like 10 Ks to go and an EF for holding position for Carapaz. There's just not as much jockeying for position, fighting. You know, in the Tour de France, when you see the overheads, everyone's in each other's handlebars. It's kind of nice to watch, to be honest. And EF, yeah, they keep Carapaz safe. Tarling keeps Arensman and Carlos Rodriguez in front position because there was the 4 or 5K to go banner where there's like the safety zone where GC times, or you get the time of the group you're in if you had a mech or a crash. And there is a sharp left-hander though. So we see Costa trying to move up there in the hard shoulder, but there's a lot of rubbish in the hard shoulder. So you risk flattening, and I think I did see an Israel rider, I don't know if it was the lead out for Strong, having a mechanical at about this point sliding backwards. And so, but if you move up too early, there's no real need. It's a waste of event. Like, look how big these roads are. It's kind of like a UAE Tour sprint stage where you may as well wait and then move late like Alpecin Deceuninck did, and then get to the left-hand corner first and have like a 600-meter sprint for it rather than setting up with 10 Ks to go, which is what the GC teams did. Volta did the same for Visma, and so it's 2 trains. It's Visma with Affini, but really the big train, the strongest train here is Alpecin Deceuninck for Groves. But it's a train of like 2.5 riders as well. They didn't bring Robert Gees. They brought more of a mixed team with Hermans and Vergolito for breakaways or punchy finishes because the sprints are few and far between in this year's Vuelta. So 2Ks to go. They've got 2 men left on the front for Groves. They obviously can't start their lead out proper at that point. And so Victor Campenaerts seizes upon that opportunity to try and jump with a late finesse attack. And Intermarché with Vito Bright, instead of closing it for Arne Marit, he goes with Campenaerts, or tries to, but he actually can't get across to his wheel. And it's a great move because all it takes is one of the Alpecin or the Alpecin man on the front. If he can just crack him, maybe he gets a big gap. In reality, the Alpecin lead out was super, super strong today. Really impressive from them, even though, as I said, they don't have their Tour de France lead out, let's say, but they always bring a good lead out to the Grand Tours. But still, at what cost has Campenaerts been brought back? Groves has 1 man left with him. You see Intermarché moving up on the right-hand side. And this is the benefit of lead-outs. It's not always just the Michael Murkoff or the Mathieu van der Poel drop you off in front with 200 to go. Affini and Intermarché, they bring their sprinter into position to the wheel of Groves to then be in position to sprint, which is what Ternesen, did really well on the Tour, which is what Van Leeuwenhoek does really well for Tim Merlier on Soudal Quickstep, and that's what you can see Affini's done. And now Van Aert has the option. He can follow Affini left, or if he so chooses, he can move onto the wheel of Caden Groves, and that's what he opts to do as the camera changes angle. And this is again the difference. In the Tour de France, Jasper Philipsen ain't giving that wheel to Wout van Aert, but he slides Marit off that wheel, gets on, and then jumps early. He's already decided to jump when it kicks up just a little bit again, coming with speed, and beats Caden Groves to the barrier, which basically means he's then won the sprint. Very similar actually to how the intermediate sprint played out, and you can see it in the overhead. Affini, he's just going all out, thinking Van Aert's maybe on his wheel, sees Van Aert's going past him, stops. Van Aert's already decided when he's overlapping wheels with Groves, he's going to jump, because if you wait too late, then Groves is going to get the inside, his lead-out man's going to open up the barrier to him, and then you have to either take Groves' wheel and take a long time to get around him and then go the long way around, or the lead-out man's going to sprint wide or swing off wide. But if you can jump him just in time, you can then get to the barrier first. And then when Groves comes out of the wheel, out of the draft to Van Aert, he's not really making up much ground anyway. So two very interesting sprints, one apiece for Groves and Wout van Aert, who takes his first World Tour win since E3 last year. So he was very happy to get that win on the board. Ahead of Caden Groves, then Aberasturi, Marit, Bittner, Corbin Strong, Arjen Levens, Coquard, Soto, and Canal running out the top 10. Here's what the Belgian had to say after the stage.
Well, your 10th victory in a Grand Tour, and this is your trademark. You take the jersey before you win a stage.
Yeah. That's nice. If it works out like that, it's worth to be patient. So it's been quite a while since I could raise my hands, and this feels so good.
Take us through the sprint yesterday. Caden Groves followed you. It looks like you switched.
Yeah, exactly. My plan was to do the opposite, but still to use my strength and to launch early. And I think I surprised him to go even before 200. So yeah, slightly up, but with a lot of speed, the perfect sprint for me.
How was your confidence?
It was quite good. Yesterday I felt good in the stage. Today again, and it was even warmer. And yeah, the team was so strong. We had the whole race in control. They brought me in perfect position in the end. So yeah. This gave me the confidence to finish it off.
In terms of GC, Van Aert extends his lead, but it's only 13 seconds ahead of McNulty, and we have a hard Pico Viercas mountaintop finish tomorrow. So Van Aert is unlikely to keep his red jersey. Maybe McNulty from the breakaway, but probably a GC rider, to be honest, if they win the stage tomorrow. I can't wait to watch it. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you then. Ciao.